The twin suns burned low over the dusk horizon, staining the sky of Ralven IX a deep, bruised red. Miles of scrubland stretched in every direction, broken only by the silhouette of a small human homestead, the only one for 500 clicks. They called him Jace Harper, the quiet rancher. He'd come out here 5 years ago after the war, bought a patch of nothing, raised a few local grazers, and spoke to almost no one. The aliens in the nearby settlement thought him strange, even dangerous, but paid him no mind, until the day his alien Maid limped onto the porch, clutching her side and trembling with fear. Her name was Sarah, a Lurian delicate blue-skinned, with translucent veins that shimmered faintly beneath the skin. She was quiet too, worked hard, and had never caused trouble. But that evening, Jay saw the dried blood at her waist, the bruise that bloomed across her cheek, and the way her trembling hands wouldn't meet his eyes. "What happened?" he asked in that low, gravel voice of his. She shook her head, terrified. "Please don't ask. They'll kill you too." Jace exhaled slowly, eyes narrowing. He didn't raise his voice, didn't flinch. He just went to shed, fetched the medkit, and began tending her wound. She tried to pull away, whispering that he didn't understand, that the local sheriff's men were involved, that she had seen something she wasn't meant to. But he said nothing. His silence carried the weight of a storm waiting to break. By nightfall, she was resting inside, trembling under a blanket. Jay sat on the porch, a cup of synth coffee cooling beside him, watching the horizon as the twin moons rose. In the distance, headlights flickered across the dust. The sheriff's patrol truck. 2 reptilian deputies stepped out, heavy boots crunching the sand. "Evening, human," one hissed, tail flicking. "We're looking for a Lurian female. Maid type. Ran off with stolen property." Jace didn't blink. "Ain't seen anyone," he said evenly. "This is private land." The deputies laughed, a deep, guttural sound. "Law don't stop at your fence, rancher. If she's here, we'll find her." They took a step forward, and Jace's hand dropped to his hip, not to draw, just to rest on the worn holster of his old Terran sidearm. The movement was small, but it made both aliens hesitate. The human reputation had reached even these backwater sectors. When a human's hand twitched near a weapon, it meant the next sound might be thunder. "You got a warrant?" he asked calmly. The deputies hissed, exchanged looks, then turned back toward their cruiser. "We'll be back," one spat. "If she's here, you're going down with her." Jace didn't reply. He watched until their lights disappeared into the night. Then he went inside and checked the locks. Sarah was awake, eyes wide, afraid. "You shouldn't have lied for me," she whispered. "They'll come back." Jace poured a glass of water and handed it to her. "They'll come back," he agreed. "That's why we'll be gone by then." She stared, not understanding. "Gone where?" "Away from here. Off the grid. You'll tell me what they did on the road." He moved with quiet efficiency, packed food, water, an old rifle, and a few power cells. By dawn, the house was empty. The ranch's comm beacon blinked in standby, the field silent. When the sheriff's men arrived an hour later, they found only dust and tire tracks heading north. What followed became legend in that sector. The sheriff department, a notorious gang that used their badges as licenses for cruelty, pursued them across 3 provinces. They raided checkpoints, bribed border guards, and hunted a human and a Lurian girl for days. But Jace always seemed one step ahead. Locals said he could smell pursuit like a predator. Others whispered that the human war veterans had instincts no alien could track or anticipate. On the 6th night, as they camped near the salt flats, Sarah finally told him everything. She'd worked at the sheriff's station for a year as a cleaner. One night, she overheard the deputies transferring slave contracts, illegal under the Galactic Accords, to an off-world trader. When she tried to escape, they caught her, beat her, and planned to sell her too. She fled, bleeding, to the only human in the region, because she'd heard that humans, unlike most species, couldn't stand slavers. Jace listened quietly, the campfire reflecting in his eyes. "They took people?" he asked. "Hundreds," she said, voice cracking. "They'll kill anyone who talks." He nodded once. "Then we'll talk loud." The next morning, Jace didn't run anymore. Instead, he drove straight toward the sheriff's compound. When the deputies saw the human truck rolling through the gates, dust swirling like smoke, they laughed. Until Jace stepped out, shotgun in hand, eyes cold and steady. "Where's the sheriff?" he asked. The laughter died. The sheriff, a hulking Trilaxian with armor-like scales, swaggered out onto the porch. "You got guts, human," he sneered, "but not much sense. Hand over the girl, and I'll make your death quick." Jace tilted his head slightly. "You'll try." Then the world exploded. The sound of his shotgun echoed through the compound, cutting down the first deputy mid-laugh. Panic followed shouts, claws scraping metal, plasma fire lighting the air, but Jace moved through it like a shadow. Years of war had carved precision into him. Every shot counted. Every step was deliberate. Cyril watching the truck, tears streaming as the quiet rancher tore through the sheriff's men with terrifying calm. When the dust finally settled, only one figure stood, Jace bloodied, smoking gun in hand. The sheriff lay dying, staring up in disbelief. You'd kill your own kind over Maid?" he rasped. Jace knelt beside him. "She works hard. You hurt what's mine, I hurt back." Then he pulled the trigger. The echo rolled for miles. Hours later, the local broadcast channels lit up. The sheriff's corruption was exposed, the slave records uploaded to every network. The galactic enforcers descended soon after, a fleet of silver ships that blotted out the dawn. They found Cyril alive, sitting by the human's truck, and the compound in ruins. Of Jace Harper, there was no sign. For weeks, rumors spread. Some said he'd been taken by the enforcers for questioning. Others claimed he disappeared into the wastelands, returning to the silence he loved. But one thing was certain. The sheriff's department was no more. And across Ralven IX, when aliens whispered the quiet rancher, they didn't speak with contempt anymore. They spoke with respect. Because on that day, the quiet man who asked for nothing reminded them what humans really were. They didn't fight for glory or law, or even revenge. They fought for what was right, and when they did, the universe trembled.